Hi everybody, Malice here with another video, and I've set myself a bit of a tall order with this one because it's another part of my In Defense of series. Now, I've only done one or two of these up to now, and so if you're not familiar with the premise, it's where I take a maligned unit from either the Adeptus Custodes or the Necrons, with them being the two factions I play, and I try to make a case for them as to why they should be at least considered for selection in an army list rather than dismissed instantly out of hand. And, well, this time we're going Custodes, and like I say, I think I've given myself a bit of an uphill task with this one, because I'm going to attempt to mount a defence for something in the book that has been pretty much maligned, savaged, and treated like a pariah since the Custodes became an army in their own right back in 7th edition. And that is, the unit in question is the Land Raider. Yeah. Now, I know instantly what a lot of fellow Custode players will say, and I admit, I've said this many times myself. Why? Why would I spend the points in an army where every point is at a premium on the Land Raider? A model that looks impressive on paper, but never really works out that way on the tabletop even. Well, here goes nothing whilst I try to mount some form of a defence for it. And we're coming in for the first defence for it I'll make is, it's actually one of the only forms of anti-tank weaponry the Custodes have within their codex. Now, yes, I know there's options with the Forge World units, but we're talking strictly with the codex, because some people are still a bit jumpy about incorporating Forge World werewolves within standard 40k. I personally have no problem with it, but other people do, and that is their prerogative and right to do so. So if we're talking purely on the codex level, the Land Raider is probably the most reliable when you consider 10th edition these days and how the high toughness of vehicles and such. It's the most reliable form of anti-vehicle weaponry the Custodes have with its Godhammer last cannons. Now, the only other options to deal with vehicles that the Custodes have come with the multi-melter option for the Contemptor Dreadnought and the melter missiles on the jet bikes. So it's cracking vehicles and tanks is one of the Custodes' Achilles' heels, and much as the Land Raider gets maligned for how much it costs versus fielding an extra few bodies of custodians on the board, it does have the trump card going for it that, thanks to its last cannons, it can crack armour quite quickly. Now, another thing it has going for it is, if we're talking purely Custodes and leaving the Sisters of Silence to one side for the moment, and again leaving Forge World units to the side, it's the only transport option Custodes have. So if you want to go somewhat mechanised, it's the Land Raider or bust. Now, it's not a bad transport choice by any means, but there is still that red herring hanging over it by how many points it costs. Like I've said before, Custodes are a very point-hungry army. Everything individually is expensive. Unless you're playing against Imperial Knights, you're always going to be outnumbered. So, it's like I said in the beginning, a lot of Shield captains and other Custode players balk at laying down the points for a Land Raider, despite the benefits it brings, because they justifiably argue, I can spend those points on bringing extra bodies to the board. Nonetheless, this video is a defense for the Land Raider, and another big pulling point is, like I said, it's the only dedicated transport option in the Codex that the Custodes have access to. Tying into that, it has the assault ramp rule. Now, for those not familiar with the assault ramp rule, it basically means passengers on the vehicle can charge from it. Now, this is a nice little delivery system, especially for assuming you can get everything across the board in one piece. It's a nice little delivery system to drop and allow us to terminate a bomb on your opponent. Drop them close enough, allow us to get out, they charge, and they do what allow us terminators do, which is pretty much tear everything short of ultra fighty characters in front of them to pieces. And yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is my case for the Land Raider. It's probably not going to sway many people's minds because, again, to emphasise the point, Custodes are an expensive army to field. You're talking 50 points or so a man for your base infantry. What it costs you for a squad, other factions can get 2 squads that are twice, 3 times, sometimes even 4 times your numbers. But you make up for that by having a stat line that pretty much rivals most characters out there. So, what do you reckon? Are you willing to give the Land Raider a second look? Maybe consider taking one for a spin? Let me know in the comments, and until the next one, see you later.